Yo, what's up, world? It's your boy Big Esco. I mean,
Uncle Mars right here.
you see what it is, and welcome to the first episode, man.
Yeah, new journey,
Building, man,
new
building.
motherfucking swag levels unlocked. Goddamn me.
Hey, you know, you might know me and Mars from a lot of shit. You know,
At this point,
uh,
yeah.
Digi Scales, one of
hmm
the premier DJ duos in the Midwest,
In the
probably the whole
Midwest,
country.
let's talk about it.
We
We
got
do
our own
get
thing
busy.
going on. We got
Yeah,
our own thing
yeah.
going on. Uh, you know me, Big Esco, one half of Souls of Liberty hip hop duo in St. Louis, owner of Educate Self, Cultivate Others, which is a creative company built on knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. Just keep it like that, you know.
Type shit. I'm
Um,
yeah,
what?
I'm Mars.
Yeah,
I'm not a rapper as well. I do DJ, so that's my musician tag.
yeah.
But you can't catch me in a good freestyle cipher from time to time. Yeah, I do have bars.
Definitely have.
I do
Definitely
have
have. I
bars.
definitely have. I definitely have. Yeah.
Yeah, working advertising strategist, my creative firm, do right design, umbrella organization, clothes from time to time, content just like this,
Same.
shit, consulting, a bunch of stuff up under the umbrella.
I'm a copywriter,
Yeah,
senior copywriter. Only
right.
thing that we don't really have in common is I just hoop. I feel like that's the only thing. I
Yeah,
hoop.
and they don't really play football up here, but that was my thing
You play
growing up.
football.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? So I
yeah.
mean that's our difference right there.
Still love sports though. We both Libras, black men from St. Louis, Missouri, lived in Chicago, work in the
Man,
industry. And got a lot of shit to say.
now we straddling that 55. You up north, I'm on the south, southern end of it. You know what I
Right.
mean? We got this whole
Exactly.
region locked down.
Exactly.
You know, we
Exactly.
got a little territory going on right now.
Exactly, bro.
Um, man, but for episode one, it is historic because we are on the eve of probably the most important presidential election since Obama.
Yeah,
I
I'm
was gonna say I think it has the most implications though since Gore Bush.
whoa, okay. So I'm curious because Obama's definitely up there. You don't think just off your opinion, you don't think that this is more important, or as a lot of the journalists have been saying, consequential
I
as
think this is
The
more
Hillary Clinton one?
consequential. I think this is more consequential than Clinton Trump
Okay,
because he only served one term.
okay.
Right. And so it was like he did do a lot of damage in that one term. Don't get me wrong, but that didn't change the country.
Mm,
You know what I'm saying? Like, in my opinion, like just having been an adult through that, that didn't change the country. When Obama became president, like the country changed. But I feel like
okay,
the country changed more when Bush became president
okay,
because Bush changed the country to the point to where we needed a black president. Think about that. You know what I'm saying? Like Bush changed his country so much that
hmm
like I feel like if Al Gore would have became president, who was talking about climate change,
hmm
who was talking about the internet,
right,
you know what I'm
right,
saying? Who was kind of already in the 21st century, not fighting that 20th century war in a sense.
right.
Not to say that things are like 9/11, Hurricane Katrina wouldn't have happened. His response to them just would have been very different.
Right. No, I feel you.
You
I feel
know,
you with that. I think that election did change a lot of stuff, especially when it comes to like the whole Florida Supreme Court decision. I
huh?
think very much so within our modern lifetimes, we've seen how elections operate when they're very close like that kind of
Yep.
shit. Um, but I don't know. Like America did change a lot that 2000. I don't think that without a 9/11, it probably would have changed as much, but it
Right.
did very much so. The world changed after 9/11.
Right.
I'm not a personally conspiracy theorist, but
I
we
was
all
about
know
to say,
the 9/11
depending
was
on
an
who you
inside
know
job.
what you think, they
Well,
could,
we know the whole motif about the 9/11 was an inside job thing, which there seems to have been some truth to that. Not necessarily an inside job, but like it probably could have been prevented. So
I
that
think that's probably a
changes.
fair assessment to
Yeah,
say.
yeah, that changes the world over. Like I was talking to just some younger homies, even my little brothers before. I was like, yeah, you didn't used to have to go through TSA to like go to get through the airport. You would put your tickets through, put your bags up,
Train
and go.
station, basically.
Yeah, I the first time I went to New York, me and my little sister, who you know or whatever, I don't want to throw her name out so early, but yeah, we went to the Twin Towers. Like my uncle that we
Fire.
visited in New York went to the top of one of the towers the year before, so this would have been 2000 for us when we went up there, and that was just crazy. And to like now have to go through these long pre-checks, you got to be at the airport 2-3 hours, international flights, maybe 4 or 5 hours in advance. It's crazy, and also just the type of money on it. But I guess for me, I would just say that America really kind of post internet, because that's like a thing, like the way that we've been able to communicate with each other and exchange information or put out our own ideas has really, really broadened and expanded post 2000 as well. Because like Obama was known as kind of like the first social media president or whatever,
Yep.
really going viral. But like Facebook and all that stuff was very new. We were super young. Well, you would have, because I was damn near just turned 19, so you would have just been 18 when the
That was my
Obama
first
election.
election.
Yeah, that was mine as well, because I turned 18
Right.
in an off year or whatever. And like seeing some of that and like the Shepherd Ferry thing, and like there was it's like virality 1.0 was going on at that point.
That's true.
Whatever. But then like Obama becomes president, we would not get Trump as a president if it wasn't for Obama, in my humble opinion, because Trump really rose to prominence. He always had a little bit of political,
You know what it was?
something,
Like
but when he did that
Obama,
birther shit and
think
the Tea
about
Party
it.
movement, it was done.
Obama had to become like, since you talk about that virality, Obama became so popular in a different type of way that the only answer to that was celebrity. And it was like, even for the Democrats, it was like the only answer for after him is like a Clinton. It was like that type of a name. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so to your point, I tend to agree with you, because somebody would have to be super famous to kind of take that mantle away, and that's what Trump positioned himself to do. I I will say that, like, Trump, you how do you say this? A broken clock can be right twice in a day.
Yeah. And I think the
Right?
first time Trump ran, he was very popular and loved because he was calling out a lot of the BS that the average American was tired and upset about.
Yes, the political rigmarole. You might just want to
He
say,
said he was going to drain the swamp. He just did not drain the swamp when he
he
got
just did not do that. He actually just didn't do anything.
yeah. Right.
He didn't really do anything.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like, this time around, I don't see how I understand people having political fatigue and even not really getting an emotional pull to what the Democrats are doing. Like, I can understand how their message is not resonating strongly with people. Because I can honestly say it doesn't resonate that strongly with me. It just resonates strongly against Trump.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Mm.
if the Republicans had a common sense president who wasn't like catering to like extremists, and was more of a moderate, kind of like I think Kamala Harris is, I think this would be, you know what I'm saying? Like, it would just give me more to think about. There's nothing to think about to me in this election at all.
Real. So I got a couple things. I'm trying to check them out for you. So agreed with you. I do think that the Republican Party did choose I guess, sensible instead of nonsensical, quote unquote, candidate to go on that ticket as well. His name is JD Vance. I think he's a shit person to actually be the next president, and Trump could have made a way better decision on vice president. But he is the less off kilter, less unhinged, more buttoned up and educated. Like he's an Ivy League guy. Version of what Donald Trump, the messaging that Donald Trump is trying to convey. They work kind of in tandem as like a onions and garlic type of situation, not a salt and
Gotcha.
pepper, where they really do complement each other's flavors. Because JD Vance can come through and clean up Trump's messes. He's
Right.
good at that. He's well spoken as fuck.
Right.
But at the same time, I agree with you. I don't, to me, as a logical person, I don't think I can really see the vision for why folks are as upset with Kamala. I understand the attachment to Joe Biden, so I get that. But she clearly, like, if you know anything about presidency or the vice presidency, you know, like, she don't get that much. They've called her the border czar and all these other things. Like, Auntie really don't get that much of a loose leash.
Not her thing, bro. She's not the head coach.
Yeah, and maybe you can kind of like contribute to like getting a big piece of policy passed or something. I mean, she technically wasn't even the border czar, really, quote unquote. That was just kind of what the Trump campaign, her opposition, labeled her as. She did have a job to do, but it was such a far-fetched job. It was just kind of like, all right, Kamala, this is what you do. So for her to have made, regardless of anything else, how far she's been able to come in, really, she's running a 3-month campaign, bro. If she wins,
impressive,
amazing. As us, like I love it, even without my own.
Outside of being the vice president, she never ran for an office.
Yeah, well, she did before. She lost miserably the 2020 situation, but she backed out.
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about like before she ran for president. That's what I'm saying. Before she ran for president, and then the vice presidency, she had never ran for office. So like, I feel like some of that, like what people dislike, is just like her, like she's not a career politician in that way.
Right.
So she's just straightforward. I feel like
right. Now, which is a lot more palatable for people. But right now, and I would say that this is the other thing I was gonna say. So the last part of it was that people have been looking for somewhat of a change candidate since 2016. It's very hard for her to be a quote unquote. Pardon my oven. I'll get that in a second. But it's hard for her to be a quote unquote change candidate when she is attached to the Biden administration and his legacy. So that's a very hard thing to shake. I think that she is a big amount of change in a lot of different regards. But to just segue into my last point I was trying to make, we did have an opportunity in 2016 that was somebody that wasn't a Clinton. His name was Bernie Sanders. I was a big, I wasn't really a Bernie bro, but I was damn near a Bernie bro. And like that shit was tight. Like he was
egregious
really,
the way they did Bernie, bro.
It was controversial. They ousted him. Like they like the DNC literally was like pulled him to the side, like, nah, bro, we gonna need you to like play the game the way that the game is played. And that to me, I would have been my mid-20s at that point. I was like, oh, I kind of was starting to understand how some of politics was working just because I was getting more and more into it as I was getting older. But seeing that chess move, that flex of just like, nah, bro, we're not going that route right now. That was a game changer for me. And I was already aware of like big money in politics and Citizens United and big oil and APAC, and prison industrial and military industrial complexes. So I'm already aware of it. And Bernie's calling this stuff out. He was polling higher than Hillary and Trump in 2016. Yes. We would have won that if Bernie Sanders would have actually became the presidential nominee. But because of the establishment in the DNC,
turned it over,
wasn't rocking with him, because now that go into their pockets. The bank's calling you like, hey, this guy talking a little too much. They running on it right now, but we know hella billionaires backing Trump. Kamala Harris made over $1 billion. Then of course you got some large donors too, but it's a lot of actual people out there rooting for her and throwing money into her. That was the same way for Bernie. You know, it was the
they would have
same
turned the corner for Bernie. They would have turned the corner for Bernie.
It would have been that would have been our really great hope. And Bernie himself was a lot more left-leaning in 2016. I think whatever the hell happened to him, whatever they told him, he fell in line.
He became a Democrat.
Yeah,
He
yeah,
became
yeah.
like an established big a corporate Democrat in that
Yeah.
way. Like,
I would not say corporate because he don't really be on like the large donor side of things, but he did fall in line and play the game in order to get shit done.
yeah,
And that's the other side of the game with politics because you really do you it's all about making deals in them back rooms, bro. The
yeah,
same way it is politics itself is one thing, but you play politics in so many other
bro.
situations in your
It's a street.
career, in sports, in the dope game, in the rap game, and music and art. It was so much stuff that is political. And I think Bernie, he was just so out there and loud, but people were agreeing. People on Trump's side was fucking with Bernie,
Mm-hmm.
and he would have pulled us a lot more left. That's the other consequence of the 2016 election when they lost and they saw how Trumpism was becoming more and more popular. The
Yeah,
Democratic Party, instead of leaning more into the left side of things, started moving a lot more right. And like the center became a lot more right. We had a good chance and a good
that's
shot
real.
in 2020, but
That's
that was
real.
because like cops was killing niggas. So it
I
was like
mean,
Black
even that's
Lives
real.
Matter. Other than that, it's rough, bro.
When you watch like the clips of like how even a person like John McCain was
Mm-hmm.
running against Obama. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Like, I mean, Obama was very moderate.
Yeah.
Obama was just black. He was not
Mm-hmm.
like super left liberal.
Yeah.
He was
Black
against
and
gay
cool. Black
marriage when he
and cool.
yeah,
Yeah.
he was against gay marriage when
Oh,
he
and
first came.
he had a picture of him smoking weed that that did really well.
Come on, viral. That virality you talking about. In the age of Tumblr, that's all you needed, bro.
Yeah, but bro, what he went to Harvard, Yale to get his law degree and
I'm
shit.
not
He's
gonna
damn
lie.
near Skull and Bones. So like, but
Trump Trump could have won during the Tumblr era. I'm not gonna lie.
oh yeah.
He had the inventory for it.
Yeah, and I do think once again, like I think how I remember seeing a clip or whatever, just watching some older stuff of him talking about like him debating Hillary. He was like, "You are part of the swamp, like you are the establishment." I was like, "Oh, he's going hard." I
Hey,
didn't necessarily rock with
yeah.
his policies, and I
No.
still voted for Hillary in that situation.
Yeah.
But how he performed and put on the mask as a politician, I did resonate with. And I
Bro.
always been like, I wish that Democrats would do better with that stuff. I wish they would do better at talking shit and making better merch.
Crooked Hillary and Sleepy Joe.
Bro, I
Top 5 bars.
crazy. He
Sleepy
going
Joe is
crazy.
crazy. Crooked Hillary
He
is
going crazy, bro.
so crazy.
The other part of it though that he's been able to do, and I think it is because of his alignment and popularity within hip hop and like our black culture already.
Mm-hmm.
Donald Trump has been able to dip his toe in a lot of that cultural cachet that comes
Mm-hmm.
from the black community, not even just hip hop, the black community in
Black
general.
culture is popular culture in America. So it's like he lives in it. It's his
Mhm.
neighbor, if worse, if anything else. You know what I'm saying? Like it is popular. He's been a part of popular culture for so long.
Bro, I got a photography art book about Studio 54 and like paparazzi back in like the OG classic Hollywood days. Donald Trump is absolutely hanging out in Studio 54
Bro.
alongside all
And
of the
that's
other famous
I
celebrities.
guess that's the thing to me that's so interesting that lets me know that people are crazy because Donald Trump, like you said, has met so many different types of people.
Mm-hmm.
Just if not nothing else through his age, just through like you said, the lifestyle that he lived, just being a New Yorker for that long,
Right.
right?
And a rich one at that.
And a rich New Yorker. So it's like how he misses the mark on socializing and talking to people. Like his policies could still be trash and he could just talk better to people and it would be almost a landslide.
Yeah, no,
But he talks
that's that New Jersey
crazy.
in him.
And I guess to me that's only to rile up the crazy Trumpers. Cause like you said, it's moderate Trumpers who just aren't gonna be left moderate,
Yeah,
whatever they
yeah,
want to
yeah,
call
for
it.
sure, for
But
sure.
they're like not out for like the crazy rhetoric. To
Right.
me, it's the craziest people that he plays into that rhetoric, and that group of people to me is a minority.
And that is, I think, why we see so many staunch, classic, traditional capital R Republicans coming out and like, hey, we can't rock with this
Can't rock
dude.
with bro,
I've
man.
worked with him, I've worked for him,
Yeah.
or just what he represents, we can't get with. And like I mean, the man has been on stage and literally said, I just want to be a dictator for one. I ain't never heard of a person be a dictator for one day,
Come on,
but
man.
like that's the type of stuff that he really does. And also how he got his base. That's what I was saying a little bit earlier. He kind of rose to prominence in OG Twitter days. He was a big
Yep.
on Twitter, and he was a big proponent of the birther
Doing
movement.
Obama.
Yeah, yeah.
He kind of
Where's your
just
birth
trailed
certificate? Where's
Obama.
your
What
birth
Obama was
certificate?
doing a little bit.
Not to mention, like, bro, if you, without getting into all the other nitty gritty of how Obama is an American, if you're born of an American citizen, like we got to go back to civics class. You're an American, bro. So
Bro.
if I want to move to France and start my family over there, my child is a dual citizen of France and the U.S. because
Yep.
my baby is born of an American citizen.
Yep.
So to even start that, it was just racist. But this coincided with the Tea Party movement, which was not necessarily what Trump was a part of, but he was able to kind of like coincide with that base. They was out there mad racist. The Koch brothers and Big Oil was behind that, setting
Yeah.
up these random small offices in Iowa and Nebraska and shit, and
Yeah.
funding all of this stuff. You would they engineered it in such a crazy way. Like us as marketers, great case studies in like how you can engineer something to look just organic and super viral and super authentic. But lo and behold, it's hella bread behind it for real. And you
Yeah.
can kind of like build and engineer a movement. But when you get those riled up, which most of them were really just racist, I was
Yeah.
studying some of the most vile and disgusting political signs in that era.
Yeah.
But capitalizing off of that and getting on Fox News and antagonizing Obama and doing all this other stuff in a climate that was open to that sort of behavior at that moment from a particular group that was also
Yeah.
being funded and backed. Oh yeah, it was just a whirlwind, bro. It's a great. If you
Yeah.
want, it's a great like frontline PBS documentary on it. But they break down like the moment that Donald Trump most likely like said, you know what, I'm about to run for president. Like fuck everybody. It
Yeah.
was at like a White House correspondence ball in like 2013, 2014.
Well, old dude was joking on him.
Yeah, Obama
And,
was blaming him, and like everybody was laughing at Trump, and Trump don't like to get laughed at. That's the other thing. Like the same way that he's on the celebrity stuff, he's a battler as well. Like it's an old lawyer dude who's dead now, whatever. That was like an old mentor of Trump 30, 40 years ago. He was the one who told Trump, always fight. If somebody talks shit about you, sue them, do this, like don't back down from anybody. So he instilled that. Trump was already kind of a piece of shit, apparently, from like school and all of that. But this guy, like, put that battery in his back, and that pretty much became what Trump's personality and his system was as a businessman. In the paparazzi and the press, when there's bad press about you, he's just gonna sue you, lawyer up and sue you. It's coming back to bite his ass now, which I'm happy to see. But he survived and thrived for what 40 years off of a system like that.
Yeah, that's
Crazy,
real.
bro.
I mean, I think something that you pointed out was like the new age politician and how he was able to like not play by the same rules as most politicians. So he would just be like online on Twitter, to your point, saying what the fuck ever. And he was gaining so much traction amongst people. You know what I mean? And celebrities are gods in America.
Yeah,
Like that is just the truth. You know what I'm saying? And so now you had, that's what I'm saying. Like Biden was one of the only few people with a big enough name. You know what I mean? Now maybe we'll move into an era or a space to where a new character can build themselves. You know what I mean? In front of people's face. I feel like in a way that Kamala Harris was chosen to do, kind of.
Right.
Even JD Vance, he wasn't on the national stage like that. You know what I mean? Like some other politicians have been chosen to be. So I don't know, man. I mean, this is what I wanted to ask you. How did you feel about the marketing campaign that both of them are doing to quote unquote capture the black vote?
To capture the black vote.
Are you telling me Trick couldn't convince you to vote?
So there are understandably and believably black people on the right. So I get that aspect, especially if you're rich, you have a platform or getting behind somebody that you rock with. Trump is also very
Right.
charismatic. Like outside of him being a politician, I could have probably endured Donald Trump until he died if he wasn't fucking with like abortion rights and
Right.
discussing families and shit.
Right.
Now you fucking with it in the wrong type of way.
Yeah.
But um I've always thought it was very silly and pandering-ish on Trump's side. Like even like him getting Kodak and Wayne out of jail. Like those are obvious photo ops and like little ways of just saying, like, see, look what I did for y'all. But also these guys have big platforms and massive influence in order to kind of like accommodate to a particular demographic. I don't think Donald Trump has ever really been in favor of black women, really black people, to be honest with you. But he is a smart marketer because he's not really a great businessman, but he's a phenomenal marketer. And I think he did that very, very well. I'm not going to say it was bad. His social strategy, especially the one in 2016, that was amazing. That guy, like his actual guy who did that, he got a 60 minutes fire. But it was always very loose.
About Roger Stone.
No, not Roger Stone. I forget buddy name. It's like something with a P or a B, like Brad something. I'll find them after the podcast and look them up for you, but it's fine. Okay. But no, it just was very sticky. I remember like even arguing and debating with some of the homies in 2020 about like Trump talking about the opportunity zones and all that stuff. Sounded good on paper. In practice, just a year or two after no, it would have been in his 2016 term or whatever. They talked about that stuff and the results of what it was. Those just ended up becoming like fucking gasoline fuel to the fire for gentrification, bro. Those random impoverished neighborhoods outside of a university area that's usually underfunded, because universities as institutions are actually one of the biggest drivers all across the country for gentrification in many major cities as well already. But like, yeah, it's a 10-year tax credit, bro. You can go buy vacant buildings outside of like John Hopkins or whatever, and like the downtrodden neighborhood, and you could sit on that for 10 years. As long as you keep that property for 10 years, you get a credit. You get a credit for it. And if you're a developer, that was easy money. It didn't help that many black people for real.
Right.
But Trump is really good at doing that, grifting and all that other like capping in line in front of your face stuff. Many people would say that's a great way of being a politician. On the other side, I think with Kamala, with her only really having a campaign for like 3 months, she has to do a lot of thinking on her toes and be very actionable all the time. I think her placements, her alignments, her endorsements, a lot of that was fire. I do see a lot of, and this is me as a strategist. Okay. And I think right now we're in a emotional state still because we like in the thick of the actual campaign season. But I have not seen I've seen I would give it 65-35 negative response to it from black men versus positive. I'm more on the positive side, but it's not going that well with a lot of brothers.
Why do you think it's been so negative?
I think, which is the funny thing to me, as black men, it's funny because it's like niggas been like, what you gonna do for us? What you gonna do for us? And then when she do something, like, not to mention we've been as black people talking about make sure that we make our demands for hellas. Then she gives us things which, you know, maybe the crypto or like I don't know, like what's wrong with us getting disproportionate like in our benefit medical attention for diabetes and sickle cell. Like those are things that disproportionately like affect us.
Those are black problems.
Don't have access to free food. Shout out, to healthy natural foods, whole foods. Shout out Michelle Obama for trying to get that into the schools more. Trump killed that too for our babies. It's back to processed food. Boom. Those types of things I think were very smart and intentional. But like Trump threw a lot of wrenches in her gears, bro. A lot of the time, like we should have never been having a conversation about whether or not she black.
Right.
She went to an HBCU and an AKA. She blacker than Obama.
Which was a conversation.
I think Obama black.
Yeah, I think she's probably as black as Obama. Because
Yeah.
it's like Obama been with Michelle long enough. That's like
Oh yeah, and she from a place. But
she
then
from
Kamala, like, even though her parents split, daddy Jamaican as shit, and her mama Indian as hell, and they was in the activism shit in the Bay Area.
no, come on, man.
Around,
She's black. That was something I talked about on one of my
it's
other
like,
shows. It's
bro,
like
she
how you go
black.
to Howard, how you go to Howard and be an AKA and be Jamaican and you're not black. Bro. Like that's the
Exactly.
craziest thing I've ever heard.
Not to
Uh,
mention Jamaican niggas. Well, they definitely be interlocking with the interracials quite a bit. But an
something,
Indian versus like white, Obama is black and white versus
yeah,
like a fellow POC, if you will.
right.
Come on, bro. If we really want to get into the nitty
Like,
gritty
come
of
on,
it,
bro. That's
come on.
petty. I
Yeah.
wanted to use the word pandering,
Okay.
and I wanted to talk to you about pandering, how you feel about it, and like what's the thin line between pandering and doing something now that makes sense. Because, for instance, right,
Mhm.
due to the internet, due to people following creators over publications now,
Right. That's a big misstep, but it's happening.
but it's happening, and I think it's the future. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like personally, I think that Kamala should have went on the All In podcast
Mm.
with the four white, CEOs or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
They were actually split between Kamala and Trump. Um,
Okay.
and I
Okay.
think that I think that you know it's her going on like I don't see how going on Club Shay Shay is not pandering versus
Okay.
not
Okay.
versus because it's like he has no political discourse. You would only be going on there to reach a certain demographic. You would not be going on there to have a true political conversation versus I guess that's what I'm trying to get to is like pandering and influence marketing and affiliate and influencer and all that kind of stuff. It's a very thin line because how
Okay.
was using an influencer? Like I don't know how deep into hip hop Obama was when he was a senator,
Okay.
right?
Okay. I
Well, he was
think
the
enough
president.
is enough as a suburban white that
I
goes
mean, he
through.
lived in Hyde Park, so I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe the nigga listened to Common or something. You
Yeah,
know
and
what I'm saying?
I think us and we obviously this is the first episode, but at one point we're going to talk about hip hop's influence on like mainstream America. And
Yeah,
I think for us, because we were kind of babies and children growing up in the 90s. But that
yeah,
90s boom, and then us in our teenage years in high school in the 2000s,
yeah. Oh,
yeah, bro, that
no
was a
doubt he listened,
massive.
but I'm
Oh yeah, no,
saying,
for sure.
but
But
I'm
how hip
saying
hop are
like
you?
in his career, because when he
Mm,
was trying to be president, he was Funk Master Flex damn near.
yeah,
You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? He
He played
used
into
that.
his blackness quite a bit.
How is that not? I'm talking about hip hop in particular. I
Mm-hmm.
don't, I don't, I'm not into the rodeo.
Mm,
So if they told me to start I had to win rural Missouri. I'm
right.
up at the rodeo. I'm pandering to them.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
trying to, you know what I mean? So I guess they somebody I feel like as far as pandering goes between the two of them,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like
The two of them being Obama and Kamala, or Obama and Trump.
Kamala and
I'm
Trump.
sorry, Kamala and Trump.
Kamala and
Okay.
Trump.
Okay.
I feel
Okay.
like Trump did a better job of pandering because
Okay.
his pandering, like to your point, is like, yeah, Lil Wayne and Kodak Black. I'm actually going to get them out of jail. I'm gonna do something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I want young black people to like me. It's no different to me than calling Glorilla out there. That is pandering to young people, even if that's just not like you know what I'm saying. Even if you don't go race,
Absolutely.
like young
Absolutely.
people, old people, like that thin line between influencer and pandering. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Because it's
Right.
like you're
Right.
pandering when you're not a participant in something.
Right. No, I feel you. So that's interesting. I think with pandering and maybe no, because I don't know. So first I will say I think that Kamala did just as good of a job, if not a little bit better
Okay.
to me for pandering because I think hers was a little more on the nose the way that it should be, considering where her platform was. Like Trump was also
Hold
out
on, can I
here
stop you real
selling
quick?
us weak ass sneakers and shit like that,
Hold on, but can I
like the
stop you?
sneaker convention. Okay,
This is
what's up?
why
What's
though,
up?
because she is black.
Yes,
I'm
yes, yes, yes,
saying
yes.
she couldn't come up with a better way to talk to us as young black people besides the BET Hip Hop Awards. Like that's what I'm saying.
I
Like
mean, it
as far
wasn't
as
just
like
that. The Meg Thee Stallion coming out in Atlanta early on.
no, but when
She
I'm
an AKA, bro.
no, that's
She
not.
an AKA.
I'm
Her line
saying
sisters and the line sisters, because she ain't got no kids, but them nieces and nephews fuck with the stallion, bro. She like
think
Beyonce
about what I'm saying
music.
though. Think about what I'm saying though. If you were gonna have a political discourse with somebody who wasn't
Okay.
a politician, are you
Mm-hmm.
picking Shannon Sharp or Stephen A. Smith? You see what I'm saying? A
Personally,
more
well,
impactful conversation where you want to have somebody ask you the right questions so where you can really come off a certain kind of way. Who would you go to? And
okay.
that's what I'm saying. Like
So thank
she
you
was
for
just looking at like the numbers. And to me, that's what I'm saying. Like it's like the taste thing. You know what I'm saying? It's
mhm,
like
mhm.
you want a certain, you want to hit a chicken spot. Yeah, we could go to Popeyes. We're in Chicago. I'm taking a Harold.
Right,
It's
right,
both
right, right.
chicken, but if you're a black person, you should know to take me to Harold's. That's
Right,
what I'm
right,
saying.
right, right,
But if
right.
the white person like, we just went to Popeyes, got some shit, I wasn't even hip. I'm not as mad at them. You know what I'm saying? Because
Right,
like,
right,
you
right,
don't
right.
know. You're not supposed to know.
No, I feel you. I mean, looking at the things that she did, like Trump literally like had actors at the McDonald's situation. Like Trump did a lot of
Oh,
phony shit that if you didn't see, like if you saw the people taking a picture, you saw the whole like a lot of empty seats in the
yes.
rallies. So like it's
Yeah.
so much cap on Trump's side. Cause this is what all right, this is what I'll say. The pandering, good pandering to me is when you are able to get the one of the four P's of marketing was like product, price, place, and placement and
Position,
promotion.
promotion,
She
position.
was getting the product, selling herself in the right place and promoting it very well. Like I think as she got more and more comfortable on the campaign trail, once again,
Right.
3 months while Trump been doing this shit really for 4 years, but we'll just call it a solid two
Right.
or whatever. So to do this in 3 months unexpectedly, it's not even like she ran and like won the candidacy or whatever. Like niggas threw this on her. Like, yeah, we can't do Biden no more. We need you to like build a team, choose a vice president within
Yeah,
like
I'm
2 weeks.
giving all of that is cool. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
But I'm also a person that's like, you took the job. You know what I'm
No, she
saying?
did. But
So,
like that's still hard. You she's building the
oh,
plane
yeah.
while flying. That's
Yeah.
that's that's the thing. But what I will say is I think she was authentic and like these things are
Agreed.
very like disparate. So I will take a club Shay Shay and I forget Matt Barnes in them podcast name, but she did
Yeah.
hop over there too. Had a
Uh-huh.
really I think that was a really good substantive conversation
Right.
versus with the athlete angle with Shannon Sharp. And I still
Right.
did enjoy that conversation too.
Right.
But so she's kind of hitting those angles in a particular way. But then she'll also pop over and like get on to the other like she's covering a wide net because our platform also is very woman centric. Trump did
Yes.
zero in on men, and I mean we're two men talking, so I
And
think
he's the
we're,
man.
yeah,
Right.
and so we're thinking I think of platforms that are more so marketed to us, like even going on Joe Rogan. Like I wish the Kamala situation would have worked out for it, but
For
like
her to go in
Joe
there.
Rogan crazy for not like catching a flight to her. I would have did that for the vice president, but whatever.
I feel that.
Anyhow, I do think that also like the things that she was doing that was true to her platform made sense. Trump was very much like Trump. He's not going to gain women when he appointed the Supreme Justices that like knocked down Roe v. Wade. So he's going for a very low voting, mind you. Young men do not go out and vote that
No.
well, but he's trying to pick up what he can in that situation. I don't blame him for it. I think that's you kind of working with the best that you got. So I super get it.
Yeah.
But like I will still personally say that Kamala did a better job of pandering. Because when I look at like any of the celebrities that were there, like I swear Vezo, I even saw that nigga. He was at Charlemagne and Kamala Harris situation. You got
Yeah.
Charlemagne right there. So you got a Charlemagne versus
I
Stephen A.
mean, I swear Vezzo went to both of them. He did. He got a picture with Trump. He got a picture with Kamala Harris too. I'm
I swear
not.
Vezzo pissed me off in the last few years personally, man.
He got a
I
picture
still
with
like
both.
the music, but he
He
don't
got a
need to
picture
be
with both
involved
of
in no
them, man.
politics.
I'm not listening to I
That's a
swear. I'm not
wild boy.
taking no
But he did
political.
endorse her, I think. I think he did
He
recently
did.
endorse her, I
He
feel
did.
like.
Shout out to
So
I swear. He
like,
did. He did.
yeah,
And no, I'm
thank
not.
God.
I'm playing a little bit of devil's advocate
Yeah,
here. You
yeah,
know what I'm
yeah.
saying? Like, to your point, the timing of everything, it's really hard to like work it out so that you can hit all these places with her crazy schedule, with all these different things.
On a
I think
3 month situation, that's a
I
big deal, bro. Even if it would have started in like February and she could have had more time in like 3 months to do
definitely
all of this, she would have been way more comfortable, had a
right.
lot more leniency, and would have been able to flesh
How
out,
do
I think, a
you
lot.
how do you not and maybe they reached out to him and he, could have turned it down too. But it's like, yeah, if I'm Kamala, even as like, bro, how am I not on the Joe Budden podcast? I'm calling Joe Budden because that's what I'm saying. Like even in a place that's all I'm like, and I guess that's what I'm saying is like the quality of conversation. I'm
Mhm.
not saying that they did a bad job of picking places to hit certain things. You know what I'm saying? But that's
She
why
did
I'm even
mention
saying,
quality conversations
huh?
too, though. She did have some good conversations with some good platform on some good platforms.
I think they were okay for what she was trying to get across. I feel like
Okay.
to me, like even within the basketball space, for instance, right?
Hmm.
I'm going to talk to LeBron and Mav Carter. I'm talking to LeBron and now. I'm not. I'm pulling out. I'm pull the trunk. Like you have to pull out the Joker. Like don't save the space. This is the last round. We finna lose. Get your books out the gate. And that's why I just kind of feel like when you just talk about like even like how we having this conversation here. Damn, we got LeBron, Mav. They sitting there. We talking to
Hmm.
Kamala. I
Hmm.
love Matt Barnes and them. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? And the
Hmm.
Western Ave. But again, quality conversation. What we're trying to get across, impactful, resonating, what's gonna go viral. Like, you know what I mean? She does it well. She did it very well with the women. That's I guess that's what to your point that
Yeah.
because I'm picking out that like, yeah, glow, man, you know what I'm saying?
Beyonce and
She
Kelly
brought out every
Rowland,
Trump
Lady
card for the
Gaga,
black
like
for the
Kerry
woman.
Washington.
And
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. For the men, I feel like she had that same similar kind of support amongst younger millennial black men that
Hmm.
I don't feel
Hmm.
like she was like. I know some of them may not have been willing to speak, but I
Hmm.
know a lot of people are. And I
Hmm.
just feel like I said, that's why I brought up the Stephen A. Smith versus Shannon Sharp thing.
Right, 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 right,
Because it's
right.
like, yeah, I don't want you to go talk to Shannon Sharp, goofy ass, who just was the only person ever to have their and think about that. It's sex workers out there,
Yeah,
rappers,
yeah.
drug dealers, all these other person. Shannon Sharp is the only person ever, only famous person ever. You know
Right,
what I'm saying? To have that happen to him. Like,
right.
and that's I think to where when people talk about the struggling narrative and her not being able to get it out, I'm
Hmm.
saying that those little nuance choices, I
Hmm.
really feel like was the difference.
That's fair. I think for me, we are still very much so centering the conversation around black men and the black male
Well,
demographic,
that was my
which
question to
yeah,
you. That was
yeah,
my
like
question
which
to you.
which she
That was my
obviously
question to you.
struggles with some. But as me being a person that's been obsessing and watching this shit nonstop
Yeah.
for months, I think part of like what we see kind of out there, there's a lot of like gassing and engagement and like clickbaiting going on as well. A lot of sensationalization with this stuff. In the last like 2 or 3 weeks, I've seen so much black men support for her.
Mm-hmm.
But also so much of this is logistical. Like we also do work in the ad industry, and we also know like
True.
it take a minute to like get the production done the way that you want to. Some of my favorite TV shows, or albums, or whatever don't be happening, or tours may not never happen because shit just don't be lining up
Right.
sometimes, bro. And like somewhat like I would have loved to have seen her sit down in the barbershop with LeBron and all of them. But like LeBron
Mhm.
was over in the Olympics. and
Man,
then
that
he
nigga
come
had
back,
an
he
hour.
rests for a
We
little
on
bit,
we on
record some
StreamYard.
commercials,
We
get his
got
$1 million bag, then get
what
his
they
son together. It's like it's
Spring
very
Hill
hard
got
to do.
StreamYard, man. Spring Hill got StreamYard, man. They could have hopped on the
That's
hopped on the
real, but
Zoom
like I think everything that she did have those for the most part. She had those
in
sit
person.
down with you conversations. She tried to make the Association of Black Journalists thing, and that was just like a mistake because she was
But
early
that's
on the
even
campaign
but
trail.
even that to that point, one of her better conversations was with Charlemagne.
Mm-hmm.
That wasn't in person. You know what I'm
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
saying?
No, she did. She did.
Was that in
She
person?
went to a radio station. I want to say it was in Detroit. Charlamagne flew to her like Joe Budden should,
Okay. Okay.
like Joe Rogan should have did. Flew to
Right.
her. They recorded that shit in like Detroit. That's how Ice War Vezo was up there.
Okay.
Whoop,
Okay. Okay.
bam. I watched that. Like I was watching all these.
I guess I just
Also,
listened to it. That's what I was confused on. I didn't realize they was together. Okay, I listened to it. Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. Oh, yes, yes. No, there. I've been watching most of the stuff on YouTube because I also was been just interested in the visual component of it because so much of how young people are consuming news and so much
Mm-hmm.
other information.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, podcasts are massive. We know that for
Right.
sure. But even us, we could have recorded it. Like it's good technology out there to record a phone conversation, bro. But
Yeah.
now with like the YouTubeification of everything and the TikTokification of everything, it's critical almost to have a visual component. We really getting back, like formatting is so weird and like the ways of communication is different. It's
Mm-hmm.
us talking about like podcast hosts right now, where the old pandering and platforms would have just go on Jay Leno and David Letterman and stuff back in
Right.
the day. So it's new media, new formats, new ways of looking at it, but the mechanics and like the end goals still remain the same,
Yeah.
or whatever. Going on Jon Stewart, Daily Show, yada yada yada. But also certain stuff like I can imagine maybe Kamala said, fuck Stephen A. Smith. They both Greek, they gonna run into each other anyway. He's recently kind of been a little bit more in favor of her, but early on, he was one of the cats talking about what you gonna do for black men. I'm tired of this, and everybody had smoke for Kamala for a
Mm-hmm.
large amount of his time and not for Trump. And Trump did a lot of bogus bullshit. He does bogus bullshit all the time, but nobody didn't really check Trump the way that we was
I
kind of
guess because
check
people, I
Kamala.
think that people like who are voters like that think about it like you didn't ask Trump anything. I don't think that they get that those people are truly undecided voters and they
Yeah,
would not vote.
yeah.
So it's like for a person like Stephen A. Smith, I feel like who's like, yeah, I'm not voting for Trump crazy self, but that don't mean I'm just going out and voting for her either.
Mm-hmm.
Let me know what's up with you. I
I
feel
want to
like
let
it
you
was.
bet
I
Stephen A.
feel like
Smith is going to vote for Kamala Harris.
yeah, I think so too. But I'm just saying,
Yeah.
I feel like that was. I feel like there is this silent of people who are like, yeah, I just wouldn't vote. So give me a reason to go vote for you because I just wouldn't vote.
Yeah,
You know
no,
what
I
I'm
mean,
saying?
and Trump did a hell of a job of going on Joe Rogan's podcast, where most of those, the biggest podcaster in the world, has a large base of highly unmotivated, usually underrepresented at the poll on election day audience.
Yep.
So it's like Trump is really trying to cast a wide net to get as many young dudes excited. But like in the last 2-3 weeks, this has been crazy. Like the
Yeah.
Haitian shit didn't even stick, but that Puerto Rican shit stuck. The
That Puerto Rican
lady's
shit
like,
stuck.
if I'll protect you whether you like it or not. That's just a wild thing. Like that's just rapey kind of language anyway, bro. Like
Yeah.
it's so weird for
And
you to even be talking like that, and you're not learning your lesson. I mean, there's
that's what
still
I was
gonna
saying. That's
be
yeah, that's what I was saying earlier. It's like, dude, this dude is like a New Yorker. It's not even like he's from like somewhere where he never saw Asian people growing up or
right,
never met this kind of person. Like you literally have seen everybody, bro.
right,
And so
right,
that's I
right,
think
right,
that's the craziest thing to me about his whole shit.
bro.
It's just like
That's
what?
that.
What?
It, that's the. I like how Kamala has been really just trying to hit the nail on the head on how they're different. She grew up middle class. Donald Trump grew up under a motherfucking billionaire family already, inherited millions of dollars, and then went and did shady business practices in order to like boost his shit up.
Mhm.
Racism, bad law. Like he's been a bad person for hellas, but he's been able to market himself. You mentioned fame earlier. America, money is God and fame is the archangel. If you can be rich and famous in America, you can literally do no wrong. Whether the afterlife is real or not, goddamn it, you can live like a god on earth. Deal with the consequences after you die, I guess. But
Mhm.
yeah, bro, like
For
Donald
sure.
Trump is the epitome of that. I remember it's super random, but VH1 did a special when we were shorties. They did like the top like 500 or 1,000 like pop culture icons of all time. And it was like
Oh, shit.
a week long special. It
I
was
remember.
crazy, but Donald Trump was on that. We were kids when that happened, but like I remember watching that. just on
Yeah.
some cable TV type shit. But Trump was on that, and this was well before. Like, I mean, I knew who he was, but
Right.
as a kid, he's just a rich old white man that just be around, and
It's just
rappers
on
sometimes rap
TV.
about him.
Yeah.
To see how he's progressed since then, and like I say, he's been in Studio 54. He's a tabloid like maven. Like he is a pop culture icon in America for
Yes.
sure. So he's got such a leg up with name recognition, familiarity for older voters, all this stuff for so long. But then as I got older and just got more into politics and decided to read a little bit more, I found out long before people was talking about how bad of a business person Trump is. All these things with Trump's name on it don't be his businesses. He sells his name. He make a lot of money
Licensing.
off of licensing, bro. He's
Bro
got a
went crazy.
steak company, fucking like suits, hotels, so many
He went crazy.
bankruptcies, bro. But he a capper and a salesman, bro. He
Yeah.
a hustler. He the bootleg
He the
man.
bootleg man, bro.
I fuck with the bootleg man. I just don't fuck with the bootleg man having control over my life.
Bro. And that's all I'm saying. I can't get why people want that.
Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
understand wanting to disrupt the system. I understand wanting to tear it down. I
Mm-hmm.
understand being dissatisfied. I understand being unrepresented. I don't understand having a crazy motherfucker want to represent the country and why they
Absolutely.
think that's. I just don't get that. I even get people having different beliefs, and I believe in abortion. I don't believe in this.
Mm-hmm.
I believe in that. Like everybody living their own little world.
Right,
You know what
right,
I
right,
mean?
right, right.
But him being a representative is like, nah, bro, y'all smoked.
Bro, it's so crazy.
Like
Like
y'all
I
smoked,
think people
bro.
at this point have a lot of burnout. I definitely do as a person that has been vehemently on
Yeah,
this
yeah,
because
yeah.
I was, me. You're a friend of mine.
Right.
So like I'm really into politics in general, but just kind of seeing I really like tapped in. I say maybe around March, Aprilish or whatever, just paying attention to because it's election year, yada yada yada.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
then, like as we were building into like the debate situation,
Mm-hmm.
and then like the outcry from that, because that debate was bad, bad. Joe Biden should not have been. But like after that just triggered me. So like I'm nerding out now, watching all this
Yeah.
stuff. Got new favorite podcast hosts I never heard of, all type new fucking platforms I follow that I will still be listening to. I'm
Okay.
in it. But like watching how this stuff has progressed, and the only way that you really kind of get that full like insider thing is by like really getting into the nitty-gritty of like people who are making daily podcasts about this shit. Because
Yeah.
this the political news cycle happens every day, but it
Yeah.
doesn't happen within culture every day.
Right.
You don't get these big viral moments all the time. You get these rallies and these celebrity endorsements or some crazy shit that somebody said or did. So it's enough stuff that kind of ripples, but it just goes spike, then back down, spike and back down, spike and back down.
Yeah.
And just that's why I mentioned like Kamala, only her coming this far in such a small amount of time is amazing in and of itself. I can't wait for her to win because I know this is like the prediction episode. We
Yeah.
damn near do
Yeah.
that.
So give me your
And then,
prediction right here. What do you
right, right,
predict?
right, right. And then get into the other shit. But I am going to actually believe in helping change, man, and go with Kamala Harris. I'm putting my heart into that one or whatever.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
it's it's 60-40 heart and logic for me.
I think I'm probably 55-45.
Type shit, type shit, type
Because it's
shit.
like, yeah, I mean, I seen dude win it before, which is the hardest thing. Like he's
Yeah,
won it
yeah.
before, and motherfuckers are crazy. You know what I'm saying? I know motherfuckers in this country will go above and beyond to
Right,
spite a
right,
black person.
right, right. No, I mean,
So with that
mhm.
history, it's hard for me to ever feel confident just voting for a black person.
Real. I guess it's probably my my strategist mind at the point, but as you know, for sure, like America is changing and it's changing very fast.
Yes.
Very, very fast. Shout out to Steve Stout with the Tanning of America. Hell of a name for a book, good book
Bro,
as well. But like that's what is really happening in America, and that's also why we see so much resistance from other people. I don't think that we will really know. Well, one, realistically, I was looking at the stuff today and yesterday. They're saying we probably really not gonna know
Till
all
Friday.
of the results till like maybe probably Thursday, Friday.
Right.
Shouldn't be Saturday unless there's some crazy shit that happens. But I think it is. I think it's more telling, even if Kamala doesn't win, about where the nation is going, that it is this close with Kamala having this much time and her being a black woman. Mind you, the black woman
That's fair.
demographic is at the bottom of the totem pole for dating preferences. Me, they're at the top. But like to be a black woman, in the broader sense, obviously we black, we
I
love
know
black.
what you mean.
Yeah, but like that's a whole thing for her to have come this far in likability, favorability, connection, relatability, so on and so forth. It's
Yeah.
a feat. And it's not just her. There are a multitude of people of different races. It's a Indian guy who's got a great campaign that's been going up here. I can't remember his name, but part of his campaign commercial that pops out in my head is the one where everybody at the back end like, we love this guy like Christian Rushdie, but like everybody's mispronouncing his name, and he's able to like find that humor in it. But bro, like he's running for a prominent district in Illinois that's going to
Yeah.
have implications in DC. We are
Yeah.
seeing the nation change right now, and things like, as you mentioned with Obama earlier, like the queer rights and everything, like that was a really big deal in that first term era for him to be on that
Mhm.
right side of history. And then, some years later, we get the Me Too movement, we get Black Lives Matter. So there's a lot of conversation and political favorability towards equity for more people other than essentially a straight white man. Like
Right.
women's rights are on the chopping block. You know,
Man. No,
immigrants, people of color,
I'm
police
with
being
you.
able to like get immunity because Trump got it in Project. We don't even talk about Project 2025, but like if they're able to get enough leeway, they're gonna enact a lot of that shit. And Trump played coy the whole time on the election trail,
I
distances himself. And if it don't happen with Kamala
Woo.
winning, it's
Yeah.
definitely gonna happen because it's gonna be a lot of resistance and pushback from all the bullshit that's gonna come from what them niggas just gonna run it up and fuck up the nation for 50 years. But
Yeah.
everybody's gonna be way more radical, way more progressive. Like niggas gonna get radicalized if Trump wins.
I think they gonna yeah, it's hard to see how they could become more radicalized from Kamala winning. Because we
Yeah.
saw how radicalized they got from Obama. It's like
Mm-hmm.
you really can't go much. And I think that's the one thing that is my silver
Really
lining.
racist like that in 2024.
And I think that's my silver lining is like, as far as like you bottom out at the racism, like in the last century, the century we were growing up in, it bottom out in
Mm-hmm.
probably what lynching and bombing,
Yeah,
right?
which is
So,
crazy. They used to leave church on Sundays and hunt niggas and take
right.
pictures and make postcards out of them.
So if that's the bottom in that century, that's what I'm saying now. Like, are we seeing like the bottom of the hatred right here? Because like to your point, like they starting to cap. Like, what else? What more are they gonna do? And to your point, so if they
Mm,
lose, like you said, how will that radicalize maybe states? Will that radicalize? You know what I mean? But yeah, Trump definitely opened up Pandora's box,
for sure, and he
and
did that in 2016 because he
he did that in
emboldened the
2016.
racists and the misogynists and all the people who already was feeling away felt empowered behind Trump. Like that North Carolina, you will not replace us. Jews will not replace us. Like that was hard stuff, bro. That
Bro,
was very hard. And
that's
for
hard
now,
R
like
stuff.
abortion to not even be like safe.
That's hard R stuff.
Yeah, is hard R stuff, bro. And now, like, if Trump is able to like really pillage the middle class and like bring us back to like a true 1% versus 99% divide, which the middle class has been decimated so much through the housing crisis and COVID. So,
Right.
and then just all the deregulation and just the gradual like separation and of inequality.
Ooh.
But yeah, bro, like that's what I'm saying. Like I'm following this shit all the time, and it's very hard to get all of this messaging out. I wish American citizens were just more engaged in general, because
Yeah.
like this is the type of stuff that'll just make you like lean left. And I'm not saying Democratic Party left. I'm talking left of them to like really get some real
Yes,
equity. Like we should be taxing billionaires and corporations more.
bro. And
Now
that's all I'm
economics doesn't work. That was 50 years ago. We ain't seen shit from it.
and that's what I'm just saying. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just common sense shit. Y'all don't read, y'all don't get into it. You know, my whole thing is growing up has always been surrounded by idiots. So for me, it's tired because I'm like, yeah, I guess that's always my thing. Like you said, yeah, if y'all just are going to choose to put your hand on the stove,
Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna sit in the corner and be quiet. I don't really have anything to say. I don't really, you know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah,
'Cause it's
yeah,
just like
yeah.
I'm not gonna put my hand on the stove. I don't.
Right, right. And that's I guess also why I was mentioning like the whole tanning of America thing, because we're also seeing the nation become a lot more colorful, if you will, in
Mhm,
the rural pockets like
mhm.
Nebraska, Kansas, Utah, Montana.
Yeah,
It'll
we
be a
had
lot of it's
generations now
immigrant. That's why there's an
mixing.
anti-immigration wave, because they like, bro, they coming to take our shit. But
Yes,
like, you can't check. People are looking for economic opportunities, bro,
bro. They take our jobs.
and take
South,
care exactly. And they're trying to
South,
take care of
South
their
Park.
family.
Shout out
So
to South
exactly,
Park, bro.
yeah. No, shout out to South
Shout
Park.
out to South Park, bro.
So like, we gonna see more of it, and like our people from south of the border, they're really big on they like socialist shit. Like a lot of people
Mhm.
come from places that give us better quality of food and education and housing.
Yeah.
That will start to permeate through if America doesn't impose its will on people. I can get to a
Uh,
whole nother demographic thing, but I know we
hey,
about at the hour mark.
well,
We got our predictions though. We definitely got to revisit it and talk
yeah.
about the other stuff or whatever.
That'll be the start of episode 2 of like how the results.
Yes,
Uh,
yes.
before we get out of here, I'll start it off by saying rest in peace to Quincy Jones,
R.I.P. to God, Mount
uh,
Rushmore music.
a Chicago legend,
Mm-hmm.
arguably the greatest musician of the 20th century.
Yes,
For what music became in the 20th century, it's
yes.
hard to argue that he's not the greatest.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, an architect of black music and American culture.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And also, we are DJs, not on the same level, but rest in peace to DJ Clark Kent,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. R.I.P. to him
who
as well.
delivered one of my favorite rappers of all time, Jay Z.
One of yours. What should be everybody.
Everybody got their own thing, you know what I'm
I know,
saying?
man. It's some other cats that's I give you a nod, but Hove, I think, is across all check marks, arguably the most arguable is the best, greatest rapper of all time.
Arguably. I recently just went through a thing before we get into what we're gonna get into, where I told Tanel that Kendrick Lamar has now become my favorite rapper ever. I still think Jay
Ever.
Z
Wow.
he has
Nice.
taken Jay Z's place as my favorite rapper.
Okay, because I was going to say from like a technical and just MCing perspective, I could
Jay
see
Z is
that.
the best
But
rapper. Jay Z
okay,
is still the
okay.
best
But you're
rapper.
talking about like branding, business, all the other shit from like the whole GOAT rapper argument that you could throw in now. You say
Yeah,
Kendrick's okay, wow.
I'm saying that
Okay.
my personal
Yeah,
favorite,
yeah, 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 yeah. Not your
Kendrick.
objective greatest, but your
Yeah,
personal favorite.
I think that my personal favorite. Now I have to say Kendrick for the display
Okay.
that he did because there was a clear cultural war going on
You talking
that
about this
even
past summer.
yeah that even Jay-Z himself at every rapper at some point in time
Uh-huh.
had a problem with Buddy,
Yeah.
whether they pieced it up or XYZ, but only one person was like, no, I'm not folding.
Right, right,
And he
right,
waited that
right.
whole time, and everybody is proud. And that moment alone was like, wow, that I wasn't around for all of Jay stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I was very much so an observer to the second half of his career, probably I would say, because he did so
Interesting.
much. Just
Okay.
because I started at Blueprint, it's not the same. It's like I wasn't outside. I wasn't at the
Oh.
club when like Big Pimpin' was out. I wasn't like.
I mean, not necessarily at the club, but
But you
you
just got a
know,
different. You just have a different. Like I watched Kobe better than I watched Jordan. You know what I'm saying? Like I seen the Jordan shit and I know some of it, but I watched Kobe. I seen
I,
the
I,
whole thing. You
I
know.
I know that like the late '90s, early 2000s, like Def Jam, him DMX situation was something which sometimes, because I guess I was on the younger side of it, but like sometimes like what difference a year makes, I guess, because like that Blueprint 9/11 shit
Oh, come on,
was like,
man.
no, that was a crazy moment, bro. Like seeing that happen and like, but that would have been, I guess, sometimes like a difference a year makes is just like the type of TV programming that you might be looking at, or
Bro.
some other stuff. Because like, no, I remember just like seeing Hov, or even like when he was on the Rough Riders, do y'all niggas pussy? No, he did some shit with
Yep.
and Cash Money and all of that too. It's just like that
I remember that
moment.
High remix. I remember when High remix came
Yeah,
out.
yeah,
Like I
yeah,
remember all
yeah.
that shit, but that's what I'm just saying. I was very so far away from it. Like the context of the
Mm,
mixtapes, New York. Like I just was really just
yeah.
I was really just cherry like getting what fell down to me versus like participating in culture in a different
Right,
type of way. You know what I'm saying?
right.
Like, but
Interesting. Okay.
that's the real man. I'm sure we'll have plenty of time to talk.
Yeah, we'll
Right. I don't
definitely
want
get
to
to that.
derail what I was gonna say. Jeffrey, Young
Oh,
Thugger,
yes.
Sex, however, whatever
Yeah.
you want to call him, it's free.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
Mr. Fake.
free. And I mean, we live in the Chicago world, you know. Lil Durk got arrested.
Oh man.
And you know, you talk about 2016, that time period, the changing. And we talk about Quincy Jones, who created Vibe magazine, like we said, was a pillar in our community in multiple ways.
Mm-hmm.
And Vibe magazine, hip hop journalism, and all that stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and all this stuff kind of plays together. But what I really would like to talk to you about when it just comes to this whole situation is how can, and I know the answer is that like big business, they're not going to be held responsible.
Right, right, right,
But
right.
it's like if a judge, if one of Young Thug's requirements is that he cannot do gang related music,
Right.
then how can the record label sell it? It's kind of like that
I
freedom of speech publishing thing. Like you can't publish, like Barnes and Noble's not going to publish How to Make a Bomb, but you could technically make that pamphlet.
yeah, yeah,
But
yeah, yeah,
no
yeah, yeah, yeah,
reputable
yeah.
seller would sell it.
I I think Thug is a special case. One, he speaks a lot about love and does make he's got a nice crossover appeal already. Worked with Jamie XX and Camila
But
Cabello and
don't
all these
just but don't
people.
just focus on Thug. That's why I brought up Dirk. Because we
Okay,
can say the same
okay,
for Dirk. We can say the same for Pooh Shiesty.
okay,
We can say the same for what's my man from New York, Casanova.
okay.
You know what I'm saying?
That's a little deeper than my tier of New York rap
Yeah.
because
You know,
I'll be
Cat, he had
following
that
them.
one song. It was a terrible song.
That's why I
You
don't
know?
know.
Yes, you do. Fuck, that's gonna bother me. Hold on. Because when I say it, you're gonna be like, okay. You know,
Okay,
I'll be
okay,
on the,
okay, okay.
but that's why I'm saying just like in general, like like what do we do about that shit? Because it's like, how do they get to sell it? How do they have no repercussions at all? The artists take all of it when they're distributing, like they get to play no absolve, like they're absolved of it all.
Right. I it's very hard, I think, from a legal perspective to like hold these labels accountable for that type of stuff because they do have like real insurance policies
Yeah.
out on rappers and all that stuff. Like I met Bun B at Soho some years ago. I think you damn near might have been there too that night or
Mhm.
whatever.
I
But
was.
yeah, he talked about insurance policy and if he wanted to leave UGK because of Pimp C being in jail and all that. So the
Yep.
fact that it's been around that long, I think, is disheartening and aggravating because like that's super predatory. But I don't know from a legal perspective. I ain't no lawyer either. But
Right.
like, how can you really get up out of that? But I think there is just it's time for a cultural shift. It's also like we've got all the talks about hip hop having like a downturn. It's shrinking. I hate the fact that we even talking about music in this monetary like
Like
Wall
it's
Street
stocks.
context. Yeah,
Yeah. Like
that's
it's meme
already
coins.
weird to me
Yeah.
as well. But I guess we in this social media era where every day you need something new to talk
It's
about.
gamified.
Yeah,
Everything is
yeah, everything is
gamified.
like and data as a strategist, I enjoy data. It obviously helps inform some decision making, but I do feel like we as an industry also and many other industries lean too much on data. And when you follow numbers too much, you kind of get what's happening out there. Like across all forms of media entertainment, there's a lot of
Yeah.
homogenization and a lot of like lack of individuality because everybody is like either following what the timeline and the algorithms and the numbers are telling them,
Yeah.
or you're doing that in order to get onto the
You
algorithm
know,
and ride the wave too. And
the
that's
and
what's happening with music. The shit just gotta die, bro.
the inherent use of data in some art industries, and I'll even say cultural, like because I can even think about basketball. The
Hmm.
inherent use of it is somewhat racist because
Hmm.
even if you think about fashion, right? When the black kids were wearing polo, that
Hmm.
wasn't based off of because polo was the number one selling thing and the
Right,
XYZ.
right, right, right,
It was
right,
only
right,
cool to them because it was cool to them for the reasons that it was cool.
right,
If
right,
you're on the
right.
outside and you want to make money and you want to say that what you say is the hottest thing, or what you say this is the best basketball player because of
Hmm.
XYZ, and I can be able to hire my son, who
Hmm.
more than likely is white and has not had that cultural experience that gives
Right,
him the difference between why this white dude went to Harvard does not know basketball better than Skip to Malou. Like
right, right,
any
right,
day ever in life. And he should never be able to tell Skip to Malou anything about basketball and how it should be played.
right,
But because of data, now
right.
you could be an A&R because you don't have to go to the club. You can look
Right,
at
right.
data. You don't
Or
have to go to
coach,
the gym.
shooting coach, a
You don't
training
have to go
coach.
to the gym. You can watch the videos and create the data.
Right,
You
right,
don't have to
right.
be out on the streets and know how to and pick fashion and know what's good. You can
Mhm,
just say, well, this is trending.
mhm,
This is
mhm,
XYZ. And so, like, the inherent use of it is to cut us out
mm,
and to qualify why we're not qualified
mhm.
to
To
do certain
quantify
things,
why we're not
to
qualified.
quantify why we're
Yeah,
not
yeah, yeah,
qualified.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That
That's
that
what
tongue,
data,
that tongue hit that lip, boy.
yeah, that's really what it is for real. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah.
Because it's like
Nah, for sure.
that's how it's used. You know what I'm
Mhm,
saying?
mhm, mhm.
That's why Charles Barkley is wrong about basketball, and then why the stat guy is right. And it's like,
Right,
oh
right, right, right. And I guess I don't know, like me as a strategist, I get it. I
yeah,
do get it. Me though, on the other side of
dang.
the other side of it, it's like I come from a pretty non-traditional background.
Mhm.
And I will just say, like, working in the industry in general, there's not a lot of there are creative people, a large amount of creative people in
Yes.
the industry. There are not necessarily a lot of creators in the industry. There are not necessarily a lot of capital A artists in the industry. Like, even though we make creative work, it's one thing to do something is kind of like your job, and another thing to like also it don't have to be the exact same thing you do because I can practice strategy, but more from like an entrepreneurial perspective. The type of
Right.
work that I do outside of my job is more on the artistic leaning side. I can use some strategy to grow, but like
Right. Right. Right.
to be a good artist or a good entrepreneur, creative, the type of entrepreneurship I would like to do, I would rather say. But I
Mhm.
have to have a human feel and touch on that. I need human insight, not data driven insight to go with it.
Right.
And I think that's part of what makes me good as a strategist and you good as an artist. And also the vice versa when we can, understand a little bit of like how the mechanics of shit work, and that can help benefit us as artists as well when it's
Because
time
you
to
know how to
go.
use the data.
Exactly. But I will always stand 10 toes down on the fact that it should be humanity first, and then you like follow your gut and back that up with data, bro. Because
Yeah.
your gut is gonna feel closest to what it feels like to be human. Humans are not numbers. We're
Yeah.
not monolithic. I'm here for trends and demographic like overlays and all these other things. It's not like it's wrong, but life and humanity is way more nuanced
Yeah.
than just numbers. And
And
I think getting caught up in
mhm.
the numbers of it, when you just you're always following numbers as well. So if you're not at the forefront of culture, which is a very human, artistic, and intuitive thing, you're not gonna be, you can never be Thug.
and
You
that's
can never
and
be
that's
Kanye.
and that goes into that because it's like, man, if the beef is selling,
Mm-hmm.
then that's what I guess kind of what I'm saying. The labels were willing. Like, I don't think there was anybody who was a part of our culture who watched what was going on with this group or particular rappers, because this is a particular group of rappers that this all is happening to. This
Right,
newer generation of speaking something on record and kind of going to jail for said things in particular. Like that
right,
didn't
right,
happen
right, right,
previously,
right.
like how it is now. And so
Right,
it's
right, right,
like
right.
the numbers are so high on the beef records, on those interactions, those engagements,
Mm-hmm.
that the labels are somewhat incentivizing it because those people, those artists were still big enough to where the label could have been like, yo, we're not letting you put out those records, bro. We're
Yeah.
not letting you put out those records because it's gonna come back and bite us in the ass. Young Thug makes more money on the road making new
Right,
songs than in jail, period.
right, right,
And
right, right,
now
right.
he can't even do the catalog. How many people are that going to be the same thing for? Like when Pooh Shiesty come out,
Oh, he can't. I thought he just couldn't record. He can't
how you going
perform his
to
old
songs,
catalog
Mars?
either.
Think about it. How you going to do that? It's that
I mean,
slide
I also
shit.
saw he can't
Why
be in
that
Atlanta either,
shit?
right? He got to take his ass to Miami or LA now.
Can't live there. You see what I'm saying? Can't
Yeah.
be around felons. We black. Your cousin a felon. Your uncle a felon.
He needed to get out of jail. He could figure the rest of that shit out.
But I'm
Real
just saying.
isolate for a minute and get
But
that
when
shit structured.
Thug is the exception as far as
Right,
the
right,
talent goes because he
right,
has the talent. So I'm not
right.
questioning his ability to one stay on the straight and narrow path. But
Mm-hmm.
what I'm just saying is just like how we even got here. You can't stop people. So niggas hopping on live,
Mm-hmm.
niggas already just being street niggas. I
Right,
mean, that was already a risk in signing them to your point anyway.
right,
And
right,
and then people went to the route of, well, if I don't sign them, somebody else gonna sign them and we gonna X, Y,
right,
Z. You know what I'm saying? But now that I guess that's what I'm saying. Like we have a group of people now to say in the industry and as a community, that shit not worth it.
right.
It's not worth it because you could have still been a big star, not talking the craziest shit,
Yeah.
not XYZ. Because I guess everybody's reaction to I was gonna say Young Dirk. Lil Durk was like, "Oh, you shouldn't have talked about this in the record. You shouldn't have did XYZ." And I'm like, but then we're happy Young Thug's coming home and he did the exact same thing Lil Durk did. Like,
The case is the verdict's still out that he actually, not that he murdered people literally, but commanded the deaths of
no,
people.
I'm
And
talking
in
about
Atlanta, they
I'm
definitely
talking
be like,
about
"Thug
but
did
I'm
that."
talking about the keeping up with the beef
Mm,
in a rap kind of way. You know what I'm
mm,
saying?
mm.
Throwing the shots,
Yeah,
doing
yeah, yeah,
XYZ. I'm saying that's what that was keeping up. That's what they're talking about. Only
yeah.
they know what they're talking about. But that's what I'm saying. They're not the only people that they're talking about because I can listen to the shit and I know what they're talking about too. And you know
Right,
what I'm
right,
saying?
right, right, right,
I
right.
know what they're talking about, and I'm not involved, and I'm not keeping it up and watching YouTube videos every day like a lot of people are.
A lot of people.
That means thousands of people know what y'all are talking about.
Right, 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 right.
And so that's what I'm saying. I understand how we out in LA, we some white people, some random rich up now black people in LA,
Mm-hmm.
whatever. The people like this, we gonna put it out, we riding it, we getting the sales, we woo woo woo. But it's like, bro, it's a house of cards.
Mm,
It's a house of cards because now even Gunna coming out, they got a chain, like they could just rap.
right.
You know what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
rap, like you said, it's gonna have to go back to this other thing,
Mm-hmm.
party music.
Right, right. And the girls are already leading in that regard.
You see what I'm saying?
A couple of them be talking some street shit, but it's mostly party, fun, turn up, let's have shake some ass in the club
You know what I
music.
mean? But these were gang leaders.
Right, right,
That's
right,
what it
right,
evolved into.
right, right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's just like the only person who could have talked niggas out the legs, that's what I'm saying, is a nigga like Pop. Is an OG nigga who was willing to say whatever, because that's the thing that Pac was really Gen Z.
Mm,
Pac was really willing to get on there and like where other people would have some type of decorum,
mm-hmm.
he didn't have decorum like that.
Right.
He was willing
Right,
to get on,
right, right,
turn
right.
the camera on here, really get on here and spit at the camera, and that crazy
Yeah.
for real.
That was Ye
Everybody
before the
don't have that.
before the Trumpism. That was Ye before the Trumpism.
That's what I'm saying. That's Gen
Yeah.
Z. That's the different.
Mhm.
Everybody not built like that kind of.
Right, right, right,
You know
right.
what I'm saying? And so now that's why I'm like, we at this inflection point with Dirk. You know what I'm saying? Like we watch all these people to the point now we watch Chief Keef mature out of
Mm,
it. That era. The chapter is
right.
over.
Hanging out with Solange in the parking lot.
The chapter is over now.
Mhm.
It's over. Vaughn died. Dirk gone to jail. Like it's not nobody coming behind them. That's like Herb is going to continue to mature and just be a rap
Yeah,
person.
the
Like,
"I'll Kill You" music is gonna go. The dope money music will still be around.
I mean,
Everybody
that's hip
loves a
hop.
good trapper. Yeah,
Hip
everybody
hop
loves
is
a good
built
trapper.
off the
But
dope.
I'm okay with the "Shoot 'em up, kill you." We gonna ride on you, slide on you music. That shit was getting kind of heavy. It was weighing on me. I don't DJ a lot of that type of
Bro.
music.
And
I be
I
like,
have to
damn.
because the St. Louis niggas love that. Thank God for
Yeah.
Sexy Red, who is
Mm-hmm.
able to rap on those beats while people like those drum effects,
Mm-hmm.
but make it
Mm-hmm.
party songs.
Right. Right. Right.
And
Right.
I think that's like I feel like the young men, it'll have to be somebody like get them out of it. They can't follow millennials. If you're 17, you got to be smart to catch up on like the smart, cool millennials. To even you got to be smart. And you 17 to be into Drake, to be in Kendrick, to be into J. Cole. Like you got to be smart to be into that. If you
Mm-hmm.
really from the
Mm-hmm.
trenches of the streets now, you a dude.
Maybe not Kendrick, but yeah. I mean, sorry, not maybe not Kendrick, maybe not Drake, but I feel you though.
I'm saying you got to be smart to be into Drake because it's like you got to be like this. Is something I learned from the high school kids at Metro or whatever.
Okay,
Like
okay.
smart niggas, they like Kanye. You know what I'm saying? They into
You
that.
can be smart and still like it. I don't think that you have to be smart for like in order to appreciate Drake's music.
I
Kind of
reason
like
I
the
say that.
most
Only
deaf,
reason I say
like
that is because if you a real street young little nigga, you not into Drake because he's soft. He a bitch,
yeah. But
right?
I would argue that just
And
because
I'm
you in the
saying
streets don't mean that you're not smart either. I think that's just a matter of preference. I don't know if you. I think Drake's music is very microwavable and digestible. You don't need to think. J. Cole at least gives us thought-provoking, introspective music that provokes thought. Drake does not give us
I guess the reason
thought-provoking.
I'm saying that for somebody that's 17 is
Mhm.
because that would have taken you probably Drake music since you've been 17. Let's just say the last 4 or 5 years, not good.
Oh
So
yeah, no,
you're
for
not even
sure.
into it. So I'm saying to have
He's
been
also
into it,
twice. He's over twice the age of a 17-year-old,
to have been
even
into
an
it,
18-year-old.
that's what I'm saying. To have been into it is to be like, oh, I did a little music history. I understand the antithesis of Drake and why people are into it. Like you
Right,
would have
right.
had to like the real Drake,
Well, I
not
mean,
the
for
new
an
Drake.
18-year-old, the Drake that they would have gotten to know, kind of like the Kanye situation. Like
That's what I'm
we
saying.
like Gen 1 Kanye fans, OGs, but like for a kid that's 16 to 25 years old,
I'm
they
saying.
like Life of Pablo Drake. Like kids who are 18 years old, they would have been probably fucking with. I'm even being generous with it, but if you're reading this, it's too late, Drake. It probably really like fucking Views from the Six Drake. Like that
And
was
that
damn near 10 years
and
ago.
that's what I even that kind of goes into
God's
like what I'm saying
plan
about
Drake.
like the Jay-Z thing, right?
Mhm.
Like I'm getting on Jay-Z at Blueprint. If
Right,
you
right, right,
know
right,
Burner,
right.
you was into Jay-Z maybe at Reasonable Doubt and you was into mixtapes and Stretch Beto and like you kind of watched it. So that's what I'm saying. To be into a Jay-Z fan at our age, you're
Mhm.
smart. That's all I'm just saying.
Yeah, no, I get that. I
You're
I'm just
smart. It's just
saying because
hard.
I don't disagree with you that people probably do have a little more intellectualism to them. I'm just saying you don't have to be, but this is also me as a Drake hater. Like
Right,
you don't gotta be smart because Drake makes very palatable left foot slide, right foot slide. Like that
right,
was a hit. Like he knows how to make music. I will give Drake that credit. He knows how to make a good catchy record that you can't
yeah,
get out of your head, and that is a skill that if many artists who are technically skilled in crazy avant-garde, whatever, if they could make them a couple of hits that they could sustain their life forever off of, like Drake
right.
can. So, like, I get why motherfuckers who make music really fuck with Drake too, even if you
Mhm.
don't make that sort of music. Then I also understand the critique of Drake as well, which he's
Right.
worthy of a bunch of that. But I'm just saying, like, he doesn't make music that's like thought, like listening to Black Thought in the Roots. is
Right.
like thought provoking and like that.
Right.
You need a little bit of some like the Roots and Lupe and Little Brother didn't get played on BET because they had too many syllables in their lyrics and
I
shit.
think that maybe you looking at it from a standpoint of like okay, like young people now for what they consider good rap or what's like the most popular to them as far as like new rap. And I'm
Uh,
speaking to the men, not the
mhm,
women,
mhm.
right? It's a certain style of rap,
Yes.
right? It takes a lot more to get into other styles of rap for younger people now because they don't get fed the variety.
This is true. This
And
is
so that's
true.
kind of, and I guess that's kind of what I'm saying is like when I say like smart, I don't
Mhm.
necessarily mean that the material requires a lot of heavy lifting. But more so what I'm
Mm.
saying is if you're a young person and you're just trying to even go back and discover music in that way that's not
Mhm.
of your generation, that's what I'm saying.
Mhm.
That's
Okay.
every that's
Okay.
every kind
Okay.
of hip hop
Okay.
listener to me. That's kind
Yeah.
of what I'm saying
At
in that way.
in 2024, if I were in high school, yes, it's
That's what
I
I
would
mean.
I would
Literally.
in order to get the good Drake, basically, if you
That's what I
will,
mean. If you're
it does
into the good
require
Drake,
some
like that's what I
extra.
mean. Because that's what I mean. The bad Drake, you're not even into it because you have young artists to listen to that he's mimicking. You don't have to listen to them. That's
Yeah.
saying you don't even have to listen to that. You
Yeah.
only listen to the good shit that bubbles up. So if you listen to
Mhm.
that one Drake song where damn, he's spitting
Right.
like crazy,
Right. Right.
then you're probably a different type of music listener. Because the average
Right.
person your age is just listening to like was TikTok or the craziest nigga that they can find in their neighborhood. That's what I'm saying. Like
Right. Right. Right.
that's
Right.
all the music listening is now. It's like the craziest thing you can find, the girl that's shaking the most ass, or you're actually listening to the songs.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
No,
It's
for
like,
sure.
and
I
so yeah.
I I struggle with this as I'm getting older because I'm very happy that I have little brothers 15 and 22. So like they keep me on my toes, but also we come from a very musical family. Like our mama and daddy listened to music. We would go
Mhm.
on family vacations and road trips and hell from the CD era and cassette era to the
The whole
iPhone
time.
and Apple Music, Spotify streaming era nowadays. The playlist, the song selection. Like my mama had a crazy CD selection, and when she got Apple Music, I threw on the family plan, added all them albums. So like
Right.
we still have access to that information. That's not always the case nowadays, but especially for younger people. Because even
Mhm.
I would say when I was growing up, like your parents might not let you listen to particular artists or particular subject matter or the parental advisory. It was pretty much loose
Mhm.
in that regard up in my household. But my mama liked a lot of stuff from the West Coast, and my pops had a lot of like soul stuff and like jazz.
Mhm.
They had a lot of intersectionality with stuff, but like those chords didn't like my uncle. He was running around. He ain't had no
That was
kids. I
black
was young.
music. Like
And
that was
like
just
St. Louis at
music.
that time was like Southern, like so we also get that, and that was just also the quality of music was better, and the quality of MCing was better
Mhm.
back then. Like those types of things have gradually gotten worse over time as
In the
well.
mainstream. In
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
mainstream.
Yes, in the mainstream, in the
In the
mainstream, to be clear,
mainstream.
in the mainstream. But the mainstream is kind of what casts the widest net and has its biggest impact on culture.
Mhm.
Like the underground is underground for a reason. And
Right.
I love that we're in the social media era where underground can have an overground impact, or you can be essentially mainstream but operate like a underground artist, like a Tyler the Creator.
Mhm.
82 million streams, like come on, bro. What on a Monday?
Come
Like
on.
nuts. But he
Yeah.
built that up over time and he went through the underground to get to where he is. So we
Mhm.
are living in very interesting times. And if it's 82 million people listening to that on Spotify alone on the first day, I know a lot of those are young people as well, for sure. But we're in really interesting times. I think that programming and like what rap media is in a really hard bind because like BET is not black owned, like
Right.
Paramount. If it was black owned, we might still have one great music video show on because
Man.
niggas love music
I don't
videos.
know if there's a rumor, but MTV2 is apparently supposed to come back and rebrand.
Oh, really?
and
I
be
gotta
showing
check them
music.
out. I always scroll past them on my TV.
I don't think it's happened yet, but that's like
Okay.
apparently they're supposed to be rebranding and be showing
Okay.
music videos and then doing like having like music shows.
I would love to see that. I think about that all the time. I mean, and there's ways that you can do it. I don't think anybody's figured out like the master way of doing, but that's what having a multi-billion-dollar corporation is about, bro. Invest in some R&D and
Yeah,
figure out some new systems so you can go into the next 20 to 50 years on top. Nobody
bro.
want to figure out formatting, and everybody's fucking
Scare money,
corporate America, bro. They laying people off, doing fucking stock buybacks, and giving their CEOs raises. Bro, figure out how to fucking survive in this new century.
man.
It's so much conversation about people. Like, I wish I've seen young people who don't know what cable was talk about they wish that they had a format of TV that was essentially what cable was back in the day.
Who
On
told
top
those
of
motherfuckers
millennials
to chase
and older
Netflix like that?
generations being like, I'm tired of paying for all this streaming. I wish we could get it all. I don't want to jump out of one app to another app to another app to another app to get it anymore. Bro, let's just go back to it. And cable still technically exists.
I
But
got
in
cable.
our generation and younger, that's like not a thing anymore. These brands used to be spending money on advertising to get that messaging right and get fucking back in the field, bro. They'll save $20, $30 a month. You do your partnerships with the little streaming platforms if you need to get access to their content.
Yep.
The actors in Hollywood and the directors and writers can make more money because you can get back into that syndicated business plan, which was really a cash cow. People still watch TV. I just looked at the numbers for TV ratings. Yes, it's declining, but if you move consumer behavior back over there, it's fine. Just figure out a way to fucking merge it with the smartphone. We should do that. We should be able to do that in 2024.
Yeah. They
That's
fucked
it.
it all up. The streaming wars fucked it all up during COVID. Like, I don't know why the
That
cable
was the
companies
time,
thought
too.
on demand. It's the
Yeah,
same thing.
yeah,
I don't know why they just jump ship from on demand. And like that's
yeah.
the only thing they did. Like they liked the Netflix had that you could watch everything at one time, but that was just Netflix. I
They
don't feel like people were for good shows, people weren't begging to watch them all at once.
no, bro. I mean,
Like they just
this
weren't. I don't remember
it,
that. Like where people were like, I just want to watch all of this because people
yeah,
still
yeah,
kept
yeah.
watching Game of Thrones as appointment. People still kept watching Power. People
Everybody's
still kept
tuning in
watching shit.
live on Sunday night. Like, yeah, everybody's watching, and you can live tweet with it. It was fine. That 2010s era, right before streaming really took off, was the
Golden.
2000s and
Golden.
the 2010s through like 2016, 2017 was like the best time ever, bro. That was the best
Golden.
time for all media.
Best time on social media. Best time for
Yeah,
sure.
but like that's kind of the thing, and it's funny because it just goes into like the other side of what we do, advertising. Like so many people on the client side, these big executives are 2 or 3 times sometimes older than the demographic they're trying to market to. It's too
Yeah.
many old people making decisions about these multi-billion-dollar
Costs
companies,
too
bro.
much to
Like
live. They can't retire.
I hate David Zaslav. Fuck him. He could die. Like, no, let me not say she died. I didn't say should. He could, but he just needs to get fucking fired. Vote him off the fucking board. He ruined up fucking Investigation Discovery. He's
Yeah.
at HBO now, ruining that shit, cutting
Yeah.
all these programs off. But he's an arbitrary cutter. Like he just cuts budgets, and it's like, bro, you're killing off your bloodline. Like Issa Rae should still be having shows on HBO, but you let her go because it doesn't suit the bottom line. Think about the future, bro. HBO's been a pioneer through a premium TV to always do some next level shit.
Who's gonna own this
Sometimes
shit?
people don't catch on for 3, 4, 5 seasons.
Literally.
And then The Wire's the greatest show that ever existed.
And
The
they probably
Sopranos,
I'm sure people stream that like it's new.
bro. Yeah. So like these people, they're very out of touch. And I'm not saying that they're stupid, but they don't really have a clue sometimes about
Out of
what's
touch
really
is the
going
perfect
on,
word.
and they rely too much on data as opposed to human insight. You're not talking to your grandkids. You're so busy, you're not even hanging out with your kids or grandkids real. You're the fucking executive of HBO Max. Of course you're not hanging out with them.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you're looking at these numbers, it's like just look around you from time to time or think very practically. But what we really need is just a younger adult like revolution across so many things. We need more young people. Like Kamala being 60, fire. That's 20 years younger than Trump and Biden. But like, I would love to get some more people around that Obama age, that mid 40s to low 50s, with enough
Yeah.
insight and maturity and perspective, where it's not like you our age. But like, yes, in 10 years, if we wanted to run for office, we would have enough intellect and
Yeah.
experience and wisdom to run for it. But I can listen to a motherfucker that's 45 tell me about life, and I'll listen to him.
I low key think 60 is the perfect age, low key.
60 is
Because
a good age. It's a
because
good age.
60,
I'm not
new
anti
60, 60 is the new 50. You know what I'm
Fair
saying?
enough. Fair,
60 is the new
fair
50. You know
enough.
what I'm saying? Like my mama
Fair
is
enough.
like in workout classes. She doing crazy. She going crazy. Still go to the AKA shit. Like she's still just chilling. Like 60
True,
wasn't like
true,
this to
true.
2000. You know what I'm
60
saying?
is fun grandma age.
You know what I mean? Like, and
Yeah,
so,
yeah,
and I
yeah.
just think like you in your 60s, like you said, you're a young grandparent. Maybe you're an older parent. A
Right,
lot of people
right,
in their
right,
60s too.
right.
Your kid in their 20s, they in college. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? And it's just like so you can still be really connected with young people,
Mm-hmm.
but you're old and you're not chasing
Right,
that. You know what
right,
I'm saying?
right,
For I
right,
feel like
right.
in your 40s and your 50s, some people still could be a little bit
A
influenced
little bit, yeah.
socially.
You gotta be qualified. Obama was qualified to run
Yeah.
for office,
Yeah, yeah. He was
and he already
exceptional.
had his chops being a politician on lower level before becoming president. But yeah, I
Yeah,
agree
he
with
was
you. I
exceptional. He
think
was the exception.
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, man. Well, shit. It was a good episode one. I feel like I
Yeah,
am.
no, it's gonna be a fun one. We gonna get into the
I
weeds with
I
this.
just had put on my story. What did it say? It was a tweet that I had found. It was like extremely strong night before the battle of Winterfell vibes right now.
Oh yeah, no, for sure, for sure.
And that is how it's feeling. Like everybody's just kind of like shit. I don't,
I got
if
my
you
chicken noodle soup. I cut the fire off. I'm about to warm that back up and throw them noodles in. I made the broth and everything, but yeah, it's very like eat your soup and prepare
eat your
for
soup,
war
lay
tomorrow.
low. I went grocery
Yeah,
shopping, never know. Just let me stay my
exactly,
ass in the
exactly.
house. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, Missouri is red state. It could get weird down there.
St. Louis City, I feel like is blue.
No, the city
Um,
itself is for
City
sure.
and county, the
Yeah,
district. Let's say the district.
Jeff, some drunk folk from Jeff County might want to pop down real quick too.
Nah, they not. They not crazy. They not
They
crazy.
chill.
They
they
not
chill. They
crazy.
chill.
They not crazy.
But if you in Cape Girardeau though,
No, that's different. Now that's different. And that's why my black ass not. So we love and appreciate y'all. Lock in with us. We going all the way with this one. This is how we finna get out the hood. So
get
holla
out
at
the
y'all.
hood, baby. Peace.
Peace.
Black woman in the White House.
You gonna see.